There are times where I will not even ask God for help. I won't even go to God for help because I'm so busy trying to handle everything on my own. So, one thing about me, I am super independent. I like to do things for myself. I don't like to ask people for help. I don't like to have to depend on other people. I take pride in doing things myself. Growing up, I used to always get in trouble because when my parents used to tell me not to do something, I would just sneak behind their back and do it. Not because I was rebellious, even though they thought I was rebellious. It was just because I like to do things on my own. I didn't want to have to wait for them. So, for example, when I was younger, I was always really hairy. Like I had hairy legs, and the little boys in my class used to pick on me because I had hairy legs. But my mom told me that I was too young. I could not shave my legs. So, of course, I went behind her back and took her razor and shaved anyway because I wanted to do it for myself. I've always been that type of person where I do not like to depend on anybody else. One of the things that my mom has always instilled in me is being able to take care of me. That was one of the things that my mom always said. Make sure that you are able to stand on your own 2 feet. But I've been naturally just an independent woman. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing that I have started to realize now that I'm in my 40s, right? When you have been so independent all of your life and you have been like, for me, I'm a single mother. I own my own house. I own my own business. I run everything on my own. I do everything on my own, right? And on one hand, I used to feel a sense of pride. Like, yeah, I could do it all on my own, right? But now I'm realizing that that has made it hard for me to ask for help. I don't like asking people for help, period. I feel extremely vulnerable when I have to ask people for help. Not only do I feel vulnerable, but I feel embarrassed, like I shouldn't need help. And that is just not realistic. Everybody needs help at a certain period of time. Like there's nobody in this world, right? Even Jesus, when Jesus came on this earth, he had his 12 disciples to help him carry out his message, right? So, me being so independent, what I have realized is that that has made me very insecure. And I don't like to ask people for help. I don't like to put myself out there. I do not like to open myself up to asking people for help. It makes me feel vulnerable. But one of the things that I have realized is that God will allow situations to happen so that you can realize, okay, this is something that I need to work on, right? So being independent, being self-sufficient, that's not a problem. But it is a problem when you can't reach out to people for help, especially when you're in situations where you need it, right? But also what I have realized most importantly is that that independence bleeds into my relationship with God. There are times where I will not even ask God for help. I won't even go to God for help because I'm so busy trying to handle everything on my own. It's not until I feel like I'm drowning. It's not until the situation is completely out of control. It's not until I have come to the end of myself that I run to God and beg Him to help me. So, what I have realized is me being Miss Independent. Little Miss, I'm independent. I can do everything on my own. That has bled into my relationship with God. And I have to open myself up. There have been times where I am struggling. I mean, I am struggling. I feel like I am drowning. And rather than me going to God, because in the Bible, I forgot exactly what Bible verse it is, but there is a Bible verse where God talks about us coming to Him. And He says, if you would only come to me, I can help you. God does not force Himself on us. He waits for us to come to Him for our help, right? He is not going to impose his will on us unless it's absolutely necessary, right? But usually God waits for us to come to him so that he can help us, so that he can guide us, so that he can give us whatever it is that we need. So before anybody comes at me in the comments, I am not saying that being independent is a bad thing. But when you are extremely independent, right? When we go to the extreme with something, then that's when it can impact our relationships with people. That's when it can impact our relationship with God. And I know I have to deal with being vulnerable with my family and the people who I love and just going to them and saying, hey, I need your help, right? But I also, for me, I know I need to pray before I do that because I want God to lead me. God, let me know if I should be going to this person. If not, tell me. But I know that's me. I don't like asking for help, period. And that's something that I need to work on. So if you are just like me, Little Miss Independent, if you have a hard time asking for help, I pray that God gives you the courage to go to the people who you love, the people who you can trust, and ask them for help. But I mostly pray, and I hope that you pray, that God blesses you with people who you can feel comfortable with asking for help, right? People who won't judge you, people who won't throw it up in your face later, people who will receive your help, people who genuinely care about you, are not concerned for you, and will do all that they can to help you out of the kindness of their hearts, right? Not out of any ill intentions. Because I think one of the worst things that people can do is help when they don't want to help, right? Because it's like if you don't want to help, then just say no. Right? Just like Jesus said, let your yes be yes, let your no be no. But I pray that God surrounds you with people who you can go to, who you can open up to, who you can be vulnerable with, and you can tell them, I need help.